Okay, so I don't have anything due for college until next week, the following week. So I will get all my grade stuff done for you. All right. Inequalities. Sorry, I dropped my eraser. So here's what we talk about with inequalities. Did you start that thing? All right. What are inequalities? We've talked about this. This you all know. So what's an inequality? Greater than?
Less than, equal to.
Less than?
Greater than, equal to.
No, not
These, right? Okay, but this is all you're doing. Listen, this is all I'm doing is reviewing what we have learned. We know these. We've learned these. We've done it. We've gone over it. But what we're going to do in here is we're going to talk about inequalities when it comes to triangles. Okay? We're going to talk about inequalities that come in triangles. And there's three things that fall into this category. There's only three things. It's not a lot of information, but and some of it is just logical, and some of it is you're going to have to learn it. So be paying attention here. Inequalities when it comes to triangles. So the first theorem, okay? What's wrong? You all right?
Yes.
Oh, you can't. Yeah. All right. So inequalities. When it comes to these things, the first thing is this. Let's review this. What's a remote interior angle? Kenya, what's remote?
The right there.
So this angle right here, and if we number these 1, 2, 3, what would I write?
2. Me?
Yeah.
2 plus 3.
2 plus 3.
X.
Now, all they're doing in this theorem that they give you, which is theorem, and I don't know the exact number here. Give you the number. It's 5.3.1. It says this: the measure of the exterior angle. Now think about this. This should make common sense. But look up here. Don't write down yet. It's all in your book. You can go copy it later. Get the understanding of it, and then if you need to write it down, write it down. The exterior angle, okay, is greater than either of those two angles. Now let's think about that for a second. X is going to be greater than 2, or X is going to be greater than 3. Remember, what makes up X? 2 plus 3.
Makes sense.
Why does that have to be true?
Because if one of them was greater than X, then it couldn't be added to something else
You don't have negative angles. Have we talked about negative angles?
to...
No. Have we talked about, what have I told you about angle being equal to 0? Does it exist?
No.
No. So therefore, you can't have 0, right?
Right.
So therefore, that's what that theorem says. So all that first theorem, inequality, talks about if it's outside, then it's bigger than the two remote interior angles. That's it. 5.3.1 just simply states that the measure of the exterior angle is greater than the two interior. There are two remote interior angles. Questions for that? That makes sense? So if you need to get your book on page 222, the measure of an exterior angle is greater than the remote interior angles. So that's an inequality. Would you agree? That's inequality. Dealing with a triangle. That's all. Nothing really much you have to learn there, right?
Right.
I mean, we know it, right? We kind of all know it. All right. Next, number two. Number 2. This one's pretty straightforward, but I'll make sure you understand it. Okay? Theorem 5.3.2. This is 5.3.3.1. And we're going to do 5.3.2 next. All right, here it is. And the title of it is Greater Angle Theorem. So the greater the angle, just write down greater angle. Bless you, got it? So, class, greater the angle. So if I have so here's my drawing. Everybody look up. Everybody here? So, here's what the theorem states. I'll read it to you, and then I'm going to explain it. It says this: if two sides of a triangle, if two sides of the triangle are not congruent, then the larger angle is opposite the larger side. The larger angle is opposite the larger side. Look up here. Look up here. So all it's saying is this theorem, they add stuff to it to make it kind of confusing. Okay, that's what they like to do, okay? I'm going to try to dumb it down. This is how I understood it. Here's how you understand it. The bigger the angle, the side opposite is going to be bigger. Bigger and bigger. Bigger and bigger. So the bigger angle has the bigger side. So look with me at this triangle. 90, 50, 40. What's the biggest angle?
90.
So the side opposite of the 90 is the biggest angle. Or biggest side. Across from the 50. So can I ask you a question? If this is side A and this is side B, which one's bigger, side A or side B?
Side B.
Why? Because it's bigger, right? The angle's bigger, so the side is bigger. All you need to write down for greater angle in theorem is this. Bigger side, bigger angle. Bigger side, bigger angle. Bigger angle, bigger. If the angle's bigger, the side's bigger. Hey, listen. If I'm bigger, okay, right? And you're smaller, right? Okay, does that make sense? It's just, that's how easy it is. So therefore I'm bigger and you're smaller. Okay, I'm taller and bigger, right? Okay, so normally that's the case, okay? You just have to remember, okay? 6'3". All right, so it's bigger, yes.
You told me 6'2" the other day.
6'2", 6'3". I was 6'3" in high school on one thing, but then you know they do this special measurements. So on my license it says 6'2". So
Currently?
My brother's 6'1".
yeah, why?
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Ask Tyler. He can't get rebounds over me.
Ouch.
I hate you.
Ow.
All right, here we go. It's on recording. Be careful what you say. Tyler's like, oh, I'm gonna not say anything. All right. So, lastly. So we have two inequalities we talked about. First one, if it's an exterior angle, then the remote interior angles are what? X is bigger than it. That's an inequality. Another inequality is this. If the angle's bigger, the side is bigger. So if we were doing a sample problem, let's do it like this. 100, 40, 40. Class, if I label these A, B, and C, what side is the biggest? C. What side is the next biggest?
Either
A or
one.
B.
A or B, right? Okay, why?
Because they're the same angles.
Let's say that this book does this. They give you 100 here, and they give you 30 here. So class, can you tell me what, put the sides in order.
C, then
CAB.
CAB, why A? What is this angle?
50.
Oh.
Good, because 100 plus 30 plus 50 is 100.
Oh. 180 is the okay.
Good. All right.
How did you do on your test? Don't ask.
Any questions? Are we good? So what if they do this? Let's say they do this. 10, 12, 15. Which angles are the biggest?
That
Is this one?
Yeah.
That's the biggest?
No.
Why?
Yes.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because
15. Bigger side, bigger angle. Bigger side, bigger angle. Bigger side, smallest side, smallest angle. Everybody agree? Are you seeing how this works? That's inequality. That's all it is. It's just, when you talk about inequality, it just means that it's not equal to it. So it's just a measure of comparison. It's a way to compare. All right? So when you talk about it, that's the key. Okay? All right, next. The next one is this. Is 5.3.3. 5.3.3. Longer side inequality. Okay? What does that mean? Let me read it to you. if two angles of a triangle are not congruent, the longer side is opposite the longer angle. So, can you tell me what that is? What's the difference between these two right here?
This one would be bigger angle.
Oh, one's a lot
This one talks about angles, right?
Yeah.
So, bigger angle, right?
So it's what we just did on the left, right?
Hey, there you go. Bigger
Like-
side.
Oh,
And
wow.
this one is bigger side,
Okay, you said that. Okay.
bigger angle. Okay, so that's the difference. There's no real difference. All right?
That's-
All right?
Not here.
Those are the proofs, things you do. So let me ask you this question. A right triangle has, remember, if we were to draw a right triangle, Devin, if I were to draw a right triangle, can you help me label it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's label it real quick. So let's do it. I'm gonna do, so let's go ahead and label it. We'll put A, B, and C. So tell me anything else you know about that right triangle. Where's my right angle?
B.
Okay, and then what's across from it called?
Hypotenuse.
Okay, and these are called?
Legs.
All right, good. So let me ask you a question. What's always going to be the biggest side in a right triangle?
Hypotenuse.
Why?
Because
Because
bigger.
Because of
Bigger
5.2.
Bigger side.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's your answer. Does everybody follow me? And that's the lesson.
Oh, wow.
Okay? All right, that's it. Okay, you can turn it off.
Yay.
No.